so deadly on the bottom half. Looking like a little bit of a teddy bear for this Elevate roster.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that when you do inevitably meet a mammoth of a roster, when you drop down, the skill level generally drops down with you. You can maybe make a nice, clean, smooth sailing run to the next stages of the competition and maybe get yourself through to the top 8. And that's all you really, that's the goal here, is just make yourself top 8 so you can be playing again next week.
Yeah, and we're going to see Elevate. I think they're going to come out. They're going to be really hot and just quickly demolish this team, and maybe we'll have enough time to go check out some of that Flyers game after, because I just fully expect Elevate just to be a monster in this next match. Not to put anything against these guys. I see them in matchmaking all this time. Lyrico, Airways, Sensor, and Schlags. I just don't think that they're really up to this task. But hey, come out and prove us wrong. Make a name for yourself. You're on the big stage.
Wait a minute.
Everyone's seeing you. Come prove us wrong and make a name for yourself.
Wait a minute. You just said prove us wrong. I didn't put any shade down.
That's true.
I shouldn't speak for you. In there. Yeah, don't do that. I mean, if they want to come out and prove you wrong, I'm okay with that.
Hey, so are you telling me, are you taking the side Rising 8 with the upset?
No, God, no. I'm not pinning my flag to any more masts. I'm 0 for 1 and I'm staying out.
Staying out, but that 0% is still 0%. Doesn't mean you should just pick every upset, right? When you get the one right, you look like a genius. That being said, we're just waiting for these Elevate guys to filter in. If you guys haven't, go check us out on Twitter at LVT Productions. We really appreciate all you guys coming out and watching this open bracket coverage. We know that the community really wanted to see some of these top AM teams, and we're happy to bring that coverage to you today. And if you haven't, follow the Twitch channel as well. We'll be live for each Halo 5 Pro Series event. So the Open, the Championship, the Pro Brackets, we have them all on here. So be wary. Every Saturday we'll be live. And then also follow us for our main event, Money Tuesdays. Jersey, were you able to catch any of it? It's been the hypest show out there, man. The matches that we've seen on Money Tuesday have been insane.
Yeah, some of the games we've seen, some of those tours competitions, and someone that's really impressed me is Command Station. She's been playing out of her skin at the moment, so it's been really good to see her not getting paired with the boys. Not only being paired with the boys, but she's putting in performances to say that she belongs there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Command Station came out. She played so well. Unfortunately, was not quite able to climb to win the game versus these the Elevate duo that we'll be seeing fairly soon. That was Vimsy and Simply Fear Me. We really thought that they made a name for themselves at the last Money Tuesday event, specifically Vimsy. He got the sniper rifle on Plaza and absolutely popped off with it. He looked incredible. He looked like he belonged with the top of the top players. And this Elevate roster, man, keep an eye on them. They are a bunch of young guns that could be making some potential upsets come pro bracket.
Yeah, something that I'd like to see from the players on Elevate is that they're obviously going to get touted. They're going to turn some heads. People are going to see them and recognize they're really talented players. I'd like to see them stick together here, stay together all the way through to Infinite and see what you can do. You're going to adapt to the new game quicker than almost anybody else. If you're young and you're brave to put in the time, so it'd be great to see these players stick together and not just go to the next team because they maybe have bigger names. Stick to the team you have and to continue to turn those heads.
Yeah, so often we see it with teams that come out of nowhere and just start making dominant performances that we see them split up, and then they don't really have the success that we saw in other rosters. One of the main ones that I can remember from Call of Duty way back into the day was that Enigma 6 roster that came out into the open bracket, upset a whole bunch of teams, and made top 3 from the open bracket. They immediately departed with 2 of their players, and then they never really made it back into that winner's final ever again. I think it's really important just to build your chemistry with the team and then try to capture a championship that way, work together and grow together.
Well, this is the thing, is that when you have such a good roster and then other teams start to take notice, they start to try and dissect the roster that you have, but you have to try and just not give in to temptation, stay on the team that you have. You've been turning heads, you've been doing all the right stuff as is, so maybe the right choice isn't always trying to go on the team with the bigger names. But here we are now on board with Vimsy, Elevate versus Ryzen 8. The way you've pitched this, it's going to be an Elevate clean sweep. But I'm hoping Ryzen 8 can maybe make a series of it.
Hey, look, we already have a quick flag out for this Rising 8 roster. They're trying to get it back, and I think they're going to go up 1-0 quickly in this game. So making some momentum for themselves quickly. First 30 seconds of the game, getting the first flag in against the team that everyone has been anticipating to win this tournament, Elevate. What a start for these kids over on Rising 8.
I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say I said so, because I definitely didn't. But last time this happened and I called out, it was Scared Money to go ahead and win a series. What happened was they filled me full of hope. They won 2 maps, and then all of a sudden they capitulated and things went, tits up. So I'm not gonna say anything like that. I'm not gonna go check on my goldfish and see him belly up in the bowl. I'm just gonna enjoy this for what it is. And Rising 8 are performing pretty well thus far.
Yeah, Simply Fear Me able to get into this space with the railgun. Gonna take one player out before he gets taken down, but we can just see the players from Elevate just living in the opposing player's base. They're just gonna try to outslay and get the kills necessary to get this flag out. As we see Naronical, a late addition to this roster, right? He's gonna come in. He traditionally has been teaming with Vetra, who I do not believe is making an appearance in this roster. So he came in, filled in that 4th spot, and honestly, just a really talented guy. He was on Team Force all last season. They consistently made the pro bracket into the championship Sundays. Unfortunately, couldn't quite make it too far in there, getting top 8 performances. But watch out for this Naronical guy. He's really talented at the game. But as I'm saying that, the second flag is out and potentially away for this Rising 8 roster.
You can see Lyric now has dropped down towards that flag. I don't want to see them desperate and then lose a counter to cap because of it as well. At the same time, you don't want to see a team turtle up, because that can always invite pressure on. But it looks as though they have everything in there. Can they get the cap in? No, they can't. Flags being thrown out of their own, and the recut has come through as well. And now they're in a spot of bother themselves. They've invited a world of pressure on themselves, and now they're playing defense very quickly.
Yeah, this Rising 8 roster, it just seems as if they're a little too excited when they get the flag out far away. They play a bit too fast to get back into the base and don't slay the Elevate roster on their way back, and that's cost them 2 flag caps now that they've gotten past that 50-yard line but weren't quite able to get it into the goal. And now it's starting to cost them. Now they've done a great job playing defense when Elevate's gotten there. The question is how long can they keep this up, right? You got traditionally this Fathom map, it goes the full 12-15 minutes, and Elevate, to me, they're just going to be prime this entire time. They're not going to slow down at any point. It's up to this Rising 8 roster to stay the same.
Karma, though, he has that Predator combo all out of railgun shots now, though, but still towards this engine area. They're going to need the blue team's Rising 8 is going to have to try and clear them out as he pre-nades that engine door. Can he get the cleanup? Yes, he can. Never in doubt. This flag is on the move. If he can follow his team backs now, just shadow them from behind and get a pinch as he collapses around the back of that team. You're going to see him now in those player outlines. That's 1-to-1. We're all tied up.
And look at that smart play from Simply Fear Me, right? He was running that flag through the trenches. He opted to go up and up top to give an untraditional angle, an unorthodox spot for that player that was on the overextend to try to watch. He gets the first couple shots down because of it and gets that last flag cap in. And we saw that basically the exact opposite play style from Elevate right there. They got the flag out and they completely slayed Rising 8 on the way back. They played the flag a bit slower, making sure that they got their kills and eventually able to get that flag into the score.
Yeah, Rising 8 seem to have a play style where they'll pull the flag now and answer any questions when they come. As you see Elevate playing the more traditional style, they slay out, they pull the flag, then they slay again, and that's where they're seeing success. But here you see Airway has the flag out again, but it'll either work terrifically or it'll cost you a cap. That's the way it's high risk, high reward.
Right, and the risk is that if you don't get it, you're allowing the advanced pressure from Elevate to get up and in position and to start running a counter flag, and that's exactly what's happening. Kamira getting the overextend over. Look at him just soaring top mid back into his base, trying to take out this player at the elbow. He doesn't quite get the kill, but he did enough. Oh, he didn't do enough as 4 players go down. I thought he would stall for long enough, but 4 players go down for Elevate. That player at the elbow did all what was necessary. He stalled for as long as he could, let his teammates get there, and now they're trying to run this flag back in, but we see all the players from Elevate overextending once again from their own silo. They get into the flag. We have a flag stalemate at the moment. It's up to this player to stay alive at the silo. He's going to go down from some nades, and a quick answer back from Elevate as they get their own 4 down.
It's carnage, and after all of that nonsense, it's honours even. Nobody has scored. Miraculously, somehow, the score remains 1-1. I don't know how one team or another didn't score there, but Neuronical, he has the camouflage. He's looking to make some moves of his own.
And look at this, Neuronical just landed down some great shots. Gets 2 players weak, eventually finishes up the first, and now look at him, he's just staying advanced. He's gonna let players push forward, but he's not aware of the player at the elbow. Can he put him on the skates? Oh, just misses the last shot. Repositions, but unfortunately not able to get the kill, but wasted enough time for Simply Fear Me to get that second flag in. They had a bit of a disastrous start off the beginning, but they've answered back quite nicely thus far as they go up 2-1 with 6 minutes left into the game.
That player on the elbow realised he was in deep trouble. He was in over his head after landing those few shots, then missing a couple, and decided, I do not want this smoke, I'm out of here. If I get reversal live on stream, I'll never ever hear the end of it. So he decided to get himself out of dodge and helped his teammate and was on hand to help him get the clean up. And now Airway, he has the railgun smartly, decides he's going to take out his pistol, not waste the bullet in the railgun, whips out the railgun, fires it towards Vems, open that top treehouse area. Oh, did he tag his teammate with that one? Throws a sticky grenade. It's not going to find a home though. No home for that Velcro. Finds Airway finds Simply Fear Me again. That flag is still out, but not any longer.
You know, and this didn't result in a flag cap for Rising 8, but I like this so much better than what we're seeing off the beginning. They really use the power weapons to slay out and try to get the kills on the way back. Unfortunately, just a couple slip through the cracks and get the return. But if they keep playing that style of Halo and find their opportunities and just execute the next time through, I think we'll see a competitive first game, and they could potentially steal it away. As that happens, though, 3 go down for Rising 8. Elevate trying to push on through, and they're going to get a camouflage to go with it. And Ironical gets that on his body and is already looking at the players that are pushing out, but gets quickly taken down. Great job by Rising 8 to neutralize that camouflage right away.
Rising 8 doing a fantastic job isolating that camouflage player, but equally so, the camouflage player has to recognize he's in danger. He needs to get himself out of dodge. Unfortunately, unable to do so, pays the price with his life, the highest price you could possibly pay. Any sort of momentum you had trying to maybe, because you could have been a massive factor on the map to get maybe help your team secure a capture, but unfortunately no, you fade the black, you head to the respawn screen and you go again.
Go again, and there we go. The flag just needs to be returned. It only went out about 5 feet. They get the return, and Rising 8 trying to push through. They're definitely on their back foot as we see all these players from Elevate in top positions, but one goes down, and when one falls, more go. As Sensor finds another trade, Bemsy playing the top mid position. He needs to win this individual fight. This is going to be pivotal to their success, and once again, it's traded. Neither team quite able to get the advantage that they want.
I like that from Vemsy. He realised he was down in the fight, and the best case scenario for him in that particular engagement was just to force the trade, which he did so great work out of him. And although they don't gain anything, they don't lose anything either.
And look at them, they're starting to push in once again. Bemsy up close and personal. Simply Fear Me, his duo having his back this time around as he's going to find the assist. Chimera top mid with this railgun. Can he find a kill with it? He's in the Predator position. He just needs to land the shot. Finds one on Lyrico. Now looking for the next. The flag is just out and open for the bait, but he's not quite able to push through. Just too much pressure coming through. As he finds one more, the flag will get returned, but the damage is being done by Carmia. He finds a double kill, and he's already inserting himself into the elbow. All these players from Elevate push forward, and the spawn out's going to happen. This could be the last flag. We see them going the safe direction with it this time. They're just going to try to slay people out on the back end. Carmia putting some shots into the ground for some reason right there. You know, maybe some disrespect, but we see this player. Oh my God, he's just slow playing in the back. Can he get the return? The nade goes onto the ground. He's eventually taken out. The slow play does not work, and they get the third flag in. Sensor so patient with it, but he thought he had a frag. In fact, he had the stick. I think if he sticks that player in the body, they might have the chance for the return.
Yeah, you might be forgiven thinking Carmia was shooting the floor to make sure that floor is dead, good and dead. In actual fact, what he was doing was trying to influence the spawns, making sure nobody spawned behind him as he wrapped around to that silo area. And what a story it would have been had that one player stuck in the base, made the hero play, which was Sensor, but unfortunately he got the first kill, but unable to take down that second player in the base, and they take down map 1. Phantom CTF goes their way.
Yeah, and it was such a good play from Sensor, right? Because like he saw the player. He knew that like he didn't see him, so he had the opportunity to get the back smack. He did it. He just wasn't aware that he had sticky grenades in the back pocket. I think he gets the stick on the player right ahead of him. He thrusts backwards, stays alive, and gets that return and becomes the hero that Rising 8 desperately needed. As we're moving on into our second game, which is going to happen on Rig this time around. We're going to see that sniper rifle, the invis. We have it all. A sandbox to work with. It's going to be fun. As we see, look again, man. It's such a strong start from Rising 8. Within the first 30 seconds, getting that first flag cap in, they just weren't quite able to capitalize for the rest of the game.
Yeah, they almost peaked too soon. They ran out of steam, and because that Elevate grew and confidence grew back into the game, and they took the series, with the scruff of the neck, with the game when it mattered most as well. And it was great work out of them. But I have to say, we're going into a Slayer now on game 2, and Rising 8, we were looking at those stats. They were heavily outslayed by the guys on Elevate. So if stats translate and carry over from the CTF game we've just seen, then they need a big hand. They need to start controlling some power weapons and some power ups.
Yeah, and Rising 8, it's just they have such a juggernaut to take down, right? This is Elevate, and they're at their prime right now. They look as if they're the Goliath. Then this is going to be David that needs to hit that stone into the forehead, and it's going to be so tough. But we saw them play, and that's what we really saw from Rising 8 is they played tough. That was not an easy game for Elevate to take. They went down initially, and they had so many times where they were potentially going to get capped on, but Elevate just iced up when it was necessary to make sure the game was extended long enough for them to take away that victory. But we need to see a cleaner Elevate this time around. I think if they keep giving Rising 8 the opportunities that could build into their momentum, and we could see a potential upset in one of these games.
Yeah, I think Rising 8 done a fantastic job of just keeping the game nice and scrappy, really not letting Elevate settle into any kind of rhythm. And because of that, they were disrupted. They got a few caps on the board and almost came away with the win. If things had gone their way, flags not being recovered, some flags been recovered, we might have seen a different game in map number 1. But Elevate, like you say, they iced up when it mattered most, and they take game number 1.
No, and these games are so important for teams like Elevate. And, you know, when you look at the ages of the players here, simply Bemsy, he's 16. Carmia, 15. Like young players that these are really going to be their first couple shots at making a run at a potential run for the championship. And these are the games that are going to show your grit. And you're going to have to find a way to get back into it. But you can see our best of 5 rotation right here. Slayer on Rig, Plaza Strongholds, classic game type right there. And then if it's needed, we'll be moving on to Eden Oddball and then Coliseum Slayer.
Yeah, you talk about these young guns, and what really this is a baptism of fire for them. You learn the most when you lose games, and when you lose them badly as well, when you can really look back and see each individual mistake that you made. But it must be said, they were able to keep themselves within touching distance in map number 1, so they can definitely hang their head and keep their head high after map number 1 performance, and they can carry on with that. Even if they get 3-0'd here, there's some 3-0s where you get absolutely dominated, but that did not happen in map number 1.
Look, I just got news. Carmia, 16 now. So congratulations, happy birthday to Carmia. Not 15 anymore. We'll make sure to keep that noted. The average age moving up for this young Elevate roster as the camouflage gets put down into the ground. We'll see if anyone's able to go pick that one up. As we see Lyrico got the scatter shot. Carmia went straight away for that camouflage and burned it. And Neuronical gets away with the sniper rifle. So we could see Neuronical's POV and see if he can put that sniper rifle to work. He's going to be the impact player this time around for Elevate.
Really enjoyed that aggression from Vemsy off the start. Instead of focusing on getting the camouflage, thrusts towards that basement side, has a look down, prears some shots in and finds some bullets. And then you see Neuronical finds the face of Center and finds the body of Airway with Simply Fear Me on hand to finish that kill. Can he find the face of that player? No, he can't, but he gets the clean up then on Lyrical. And you see him now patrolling these streets with the sniper rifle. Going to use it as a baseball bat, no doubt. Gets to confirmation that player's no shields. Almost banked on that kill before it was finished. Finds the body. It's an unbelievable shot onto the body there. And Neuronical gets the kill on Center as well. It's 12-3. And like I said, I was afraid of this. They were so heavily outslayed in the Fathom game that there was a chance this could happen.
And Naronical, he's such an aggressive player. That's what we noticed when he was playing with that Force roster, was that he'd push up, get in your face. When he had sniper rifle, he'd get up close and personal, and he always pushed his agenda. He plays like an individual that is on a tear. He has no fear, and that's what we're seeing out of Naronical right now as he's filling in for this fourth this time around. Maybe a similar situation that Jazero was in for that Flyers roster. Naronical could potentially be proving himself to be a new fourth if he plays very well this tournament.
Naronical really just dictating the pace of the game. You often see players with sniper rifles, they sit back in the bunkers, they watch angles, they watch sight lines, but he was decided to get all up in your face and just really use it as a baseball bat, use it as a shotgun more than anything else. Find your body, and he knows all he has to do is whip out his pistol and find your face for the finishing kill. But 21-5, and it's a bit of a steamrolling at the minute, and with the way this map can sometimes play, it's a tough ask for them to bounce back here.
Yeah, I just looked at my clock, my watch on my wrist, and I have 2 minutes. We've been playing for 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and we have 22 kills already for Elevate. That's absolutely incredible. I felt like I blinked and this game has gone by, and that's largely part to just how fast and aggressive these players like Naronical, Carmilla have been playing thus far. And it's going to be a tough hill for Rising to climb, because they need to stop this bleeding. They need to put the tourniquet on.
Yeah, one thing Elevate are enjoying doing right now is murdering. Good old-fashioned murdering. Running straight through this blue team squad, this Rising 8 side. Just cannot seem to get the grips of the game, cannot match the pace and the aggression on the side of Elevate. And although you see that player charging through, trying to stay alive from the Elevate side, he's got 2 members of Rising 8 in a world of hurt in the wrong place down low and underneath this nest area as well. It's just, it seems to be all clicking together, firing on all cylinders, and they're hunting in a pack.
Look at that, Carmilla able to get the sniper rifle and not able to do much with it. 3 players from Rising 8 just immediately looked at him and took him out right away. And that's just something you have to be aware of when you're forcing a carbine spawn when sniper rifle is coming up. It's going to be so tough to get the sniper rifle out. If you go in there, you have to make a quick decision whether you're going to try to boost slide back into engine 2 or potentially just play the sniper rifle off the map. Or if you're feeling real aggressive like he was, Carmilla immediately push forward and try to hit some heads right away. Unfortunately, did not go in his favor, but Airway picked up that sniper rifle and was quickly decimated as well. So we're just seeing the game's kind of stabilized at this point where we're seeing trade for trade. But when you go down 22-7 early on into the game, you can't afford to trade at any point.
Yeah, Rising 8 have managed to balance the books almost. They started to fight back, and anytime they get slayed, they take a life of their own. But the problem is, like you say, they started off so poorly, so badly, then left it all to do for themselves that they now find themselves in a precarious position where there's almost not enough kills left in the game for them to really mount any sort of comeback. They would need to play, we always say, a perfect Halo, and so often than not, you see a team like Elevate, they're not going to let the foot off the gas here.
Yeah, they either have to play perfect Halo or this Elevate roster has to find a way to choke this away, and I just don't see them doing that. I think this is going to be a swift second game for Elevate, but we have seen the game tighten up a little bit, right? They're only up by 11 now instead of the 15-16 kill lead that we saw previously. It's just you can't let them get past that 40 kill mark without you getting this within a 7-8 kill game and to find your momentum as the camo on Naronical goes down, and we see these players from Rising 8 starting to push through and make their initial push into engine. As we see, I want to see that's Shaligs. I'm not even gonna try it. Schlags. Just change your gamer tag, man.
Yeah,
you can't have gamer tags so we can't read.
What do you do? I'm just going to call you Slay. Now, how do you like that? No, I bet you don't like that, do you? Well, that's what you're being called from now on. If you're going to make it hard for me, I'm not going to say it right. That's the way it is. But Simply Fear Me now putting down some shots. And I have to say, touching upon Naronical's camouflage play there, he didn't really seem to know whether he wanted to stick or to twist. He sort of didn't go one way, didn't go the other, and because of that, he threw a few nades, lost his life, but it's not going to matter too much now. They only need 4 kills. They're ahead by 16, and the writing is already on the wall.
You know, but shout out to them, right? They had a rough start. They ended up not getting staked. So, bit of an accomplishment when you go down very fast, very early on, to at least get yourself to a respectable score line and not seeing the steak dinner put on for these young kids over at Elevate, as they're gonna just need to find one more kill to finish off this game, and then we'll be moving on to Plaza Strongholds. Classic game type and map combination. So fun. I'm excited to see how these Elevate guys decide to take it on.
There we have it, 50-34, the final score. They win by 16, and there was no stakes, medium rare or otherwise. We're going to be heading into that Plaza game. We love to see a bit of strongholds, and if they can maintain this impressive start, this impressive form, the momentum that they're on, it's a tough ask for Airway and Co to really bounce back here and make any sort of game of it. But they've been doing good enough to let me know that there is signs of life there, but they're honestly just matched up against a much better roster.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate. Well, I guess it kind of is fortunate, right? Because they're in winners quarters right now, or this could be potentially semis. So it's like, you know, for this team to get this far and then eventually meet the juggernaut that is Elevate. You know, you went through a pretty not an easy bracket to get here, but now you're starting to take on the juggernauts. On the top half of the bracket, you had some stacked over teams, so now they'll have a bit of they had some good warm-up games to get them into further down into the losers bracket if they do drop. You know, we never know, the comeback could happen, but so far this is just looking like an easy bottom half of the bracket for Elevate as they're moving on into the third game, trying to clean this one up 3-0 as we see some of the highlights from the previous game. Shout out to our producer in the back, Louis V. Titan, man. He throws on a hell of a show. I love these replays that we get after the games.
Yeah, absolutely lovely little package from Louis V, and also Nighty Night in the back doing the observer work. I've taken his job, and I apologize for that, Alex. It was not my intention. You offered it up to me, and I took it. Full pay and benefits. So I want health insurance, all the goods. So wait, is it too late to ask to have demands now?
Wait, you guys get health insurance in Ireland? I thought you guys just had that. You know, that sounds oddly American to me.
Well, I'm trying to Americanize myself. I almost made a touchdown reference in the game of flag. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to dip my foot into the pond here.
Man, you're playing a dangerous game right there. There's American football. Woo, I never thought I'd see the day, Jersey. But here we go. Third game, Elevate pushing through. We're going to see if they can take this third game as we see the players from Rising 8 just starting to collapse on these players. Look at the 3 players from Elevate over at LR, and all 3 of them should go down. They were made weak. I guess one player, Neuronical, able to stay alive for the time being. But Camo going in favor of Rising 8. So once again, Rising 8 with a bit of a better start like we saw in the first objective game type. But the question is, how long can they maintain it? As we see the grenade come out, the man is throwing dots across the map. What a hell of a stick from Center right there.
I'm just gonna say that was nothing but net, an absolute 3-pointer. Swish, he lobs that grenade, and it was actually so beautiful that he watched it dip over to the face of that opposition player and still managed to keep himself alive and camouflage as well. But all his efforts are in vain because bottom middle is going to go and give the enemy team's control anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you could have went with the American football, right? Like father and son with the pigskin in the backyard, throwing it out, perfect lob from the dad. I don't know, but here we go.
I feel like I might have started insulting people, and it's really it shouldn't be called football anyway. It should be called throw ball. You don't really kick the ball that often. Let's be honest.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I can't. It's like I want to argue with you, but at the same time, I can't. It's like, why is it called football? There's no reason for it. No, in Australia they call it gridiron. That's so bad ass, bro. Like gridiron. Oh, I wish we called it that.
Is that the one where they kick it around as well?
No, gridiron is just American football in Australia because football in Australia is Aussie rules football. So.
Yeah. I'm on the same page because interestingly enough, Aussie rules football actually play against the Irish teams in Gaelic football, and they actually have a once a year sort of slobber knocker where they basically play Gaelic football. Surprisingly enough, they actually beat us more often than not because those boys are professionals and our lads are just amateurs.
The Gaelic team can't keep up with the Australians.
Can't keep up with them.
Man. They're nasty. They do everything so right. That being said, we have another Asian. You know, the Australians will be playing later on in their own pro series. So go check that out later tonight as they'll be putting up some action over there. But Simply Fear Me pushing into this base. He's going to find Lyrico, and with that noob combo, helps Neuronical and turns immediately around. Simply Fear Me, a star from the last Money Tuesday match where he played with Vemzy to take down Command Station commonly.
Yeah, Vemzy, speaking of the man, the myth, the legend, he's got the camouflage. He has the world is his oyster right now. It's his little playground. He's just gonna hang about on this lamppost, wait for a guy to peek. Nobody is. Look, he's doing what he wants when he wants. Takes down that player, center down bottom middle, and just it seems right. There's just a difference in class here between Rising 8 and Elevate.
Yeah, and this is a good lesson for Rising 8, right? They're going to be able to go back and film, maybe get a coach, find a coach to give them a little bit of a session and figure out where their mistakes were and come back next open bracket and try to put up more of a fight. But so far, we're just seeing them get outclassed on Plaza Strongholds. And this is what really makes the difference between some of the better teams and the top AM teams, is that you'll just notice a big difference on the classic maps and game types. So Coliseum Flag will never be closed. Plaza Strongholds will never be closed. You'll see them steal away a couple of the more unorthodox, like the Fathom Flags that we saw. But really, when it comes to the tried and true game types, we just see the better team usually dominate.
Yeah, when it comes down to a game type where it's a little bit more tactical, the game doesn't go by so fast, you will see those teams start to dominate. Over here, the teams that are generally pretty good at Strongholds are the French teams, and once they get a grip on the map, they never seem to relinquish it, they never seem to let go, and it's the same here. You're seeing Elevate just not letting the foot off the gas, just keeping all the pressure on this Rising 8 squad, and every time you see a Rising 8 member spawn up, they have no single idea where to go. They seem to be like a deer in the headlights.
See, I want to see what's going on in the French school. Like, what are they teaching in elementary school that makes them such a good stronghold teams? Because I really do notice what you said about those French teams. They're very good at strongholds, and I'm not sure what's so different about them and others. But we're seeing that from Elevate. I mean, they're just dominating at the moment. Not a point on the board for this Rising 8 roster. We'll see if they can get at least something on the board before this game is over. But it's quickly looking like this is going to be 100-0 scoreline at the end.
Yeah, it's looking like toast at the moment. Burnt toast at that if you're Rising 8. Just they cannot seem to be able to get anything going. They have camouflage now, but just it's too little too late. They can't get the scoring on the board. You can't seem to be able to click in the same page. And at the same time, I don't even want to blame Rising 8 for this. They're just playing against such a good team here.
Yeah, Elevate really the cream of the crop, especially in this tournament. Really in that top 3 conversation. Most people having them winning this tournament. And I think we're seeing why. But a couple points on the board for Lyrico and crew, as they aren't going to get completely blown out, you know, able to get some control for a little bit. But the trip cap momentarily comes out for this Elevate roster as they're just waiting for the last couple ticks to come through, and they'll secure their ticket into the winter semifinal.
Yep, that ticket's going to be well and truly punched and done in a convincing fashion, as well as Carmia just springs out in almost victory lap as he's doing. He takes down Schlegs here as well. Down go Schlegs. Just a matter of time, really. That kill wouldn't have mattered too much in the end, in the grand scheme of things. He gets the job done. That's pretty much what Elevate have been doing. They were professional in that series.
There we go. Let's see if we can take a look at these last little final stats, and then we'll take a look at the bracket and see what other interesting matchups we have going on. I want to maybe take a peek over at that Flyers game, as they'll be going up against that roster that we saw earlier compete, which was, oh my god, I'm blanking on their name once again. Shurzy, this is Swish's team. That's how I'm going to refer
Cobra
to them.
Kai.
Cobra Kai.